Hello viewers, welcome to the show Aussie Wood Hard Talk powered by Koollife TV. My name is Victoria Maywen, your host. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge the custodian of the land which we meet today, the Wajak people of the Noongar Nation. We pay our respect to elders past, present and emerging. Today with me in the studio is a very special guest. She is someone who has impacted and empowered women through her journey, especially women from the multicultural background. She is the CEO and the founder of Sisters Project. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tracy.
Thank you. Thank you for your introduction.
Tracy, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm very well. Thank you.
Exclusive at KoollifeTV.com.
How are you today, Tracy? Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you. Please kindly introduce yourself to our audience. Tell us more about yourself and tell us how you ended up in this beautiful country.
Okay, so actually I was born here. I was born in Sydney and studied linguistics, so I was able to teach English as a second language or additional language, and I was a teacher for over 25 years in Sydney, all around New South Wales, and then in Japan as well. So I lived in Japan for a few years and met my husband in Japan, in Tokyo, and brought him back to Australia. We had 4 kids and then moved over to Perth, and that's how we ended up in Perth.
That is amazing. 25 years of teaching.
Oh yeah, more than that.
Wonderful.
Yeah, this face is old now.
Yeah, you look amazing. Yeah, thank you. So tell us a bit also about your work with women and like I read through your bio and I was very inspired. Can you tell us a bit why women, especially why women from multicultural background, refugees, asylum seekers and migrants?
Okay, I have, I guess the interest and the passion comes from lived experience. So living as a migrant myself overseas in a culture with a language that I didn't understand and couldn't communicate. So I've got that understanding of how isolating that can be and how incredibly lonely you can get without your family and friends, connections around you. Also just the inability to communicate with anybody. I like to joke a lot. Humor is something that I just love to joke around with people and enjoy company, and you can't do that if you can't communicate. And living in a culture where eye contact is not done like it's done here. I actually went for about the first 3 months with no eye contact with anybody. And
so that was in Japan?
That was in Japan. So that was a lot. That was really a big thing to not be able to look at anybody in the eye and have a conversation with them. So I've got that lived experience, and even shopping for food. If you look at a packet, you can't read what's inside the packet. All the signs on a door, what's inside the office. You know, all that. You're very vulnerable as a migrant. You're very vulnerable to the kindness of others that are around you, and as we all know, not everyone is kind around us. So that was a big learning curve, and also lived experience of bringing someone into Australia, my now ex-husband, into Australia, how difficult it is to connect if you don't have work experience here or qualifications here, connections. It's very, very difficult to start fresh in a new country.
Definitely. Thank you for sharing. What do you think are the biggest, like having you to be someone who's worked with women daily, so what do you think is the biggest issue facing women at the moment?
Yeah, there's a few.
One of the biggest.
The biggest. Okay, I think women that are coming into Perth don't necessarily realize they have choices, and we all have choices, and we have a lot of choices available to us in Australia that maybe we don't have back home. Choices as to what is okay and acceptable for us to put up with, or choices to do with study, ability to study, ability to be living comfortably, to put our voice forward and say what we want and claim a space for ourselves. Women here have a lot more power and control over themselves and their family and their future. And I think women that are coming here don't necessarily know that or know how to do that. So my whole focus is to help empower, help women co-create the best possible future they have for themselves.
So you feel like it's information, it's lack of information that it's the
There's a
biggest
serious
problem.
gap between lack of information and you know, when you're new in a country and you're not able to communicate, your confidence level can go down and your voice can get quieter and quieter and quieter because you don't know who to talk to. So it's providing information, it's connecting to services, and it's also boosting the confidence and reminding women that they are incredibly resilient and they are powerful. They just need a bit of hand holding, perhaps, a bit of support for a little while until they recognize their inner strength and they can keep moving forward.
So let's say in case someone is watching today and so how do you think women can do that?
Good question. So get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Connect. Get out of the house. Connect with other women. Find a place where, and it can just be by connecting with one person who will then refer you to another person, to another person. Keep doing that and claim a space for yourself. Be a part of the conversation. And do actively look for and find those that are willing to support you in getting training for yourself, getting connected for work, finding out about the services. You won't find them in your lounge room at home, cleaning your kitchen. You need to get out and you need to make some connections with other people and build relationships.
So I totally agree with everything that you've said, connecting yourself, getting out of the house. But I have some experience where, like, I went to a mother group, you know, like a play group, where you still feel lonely.
Yes.
You know, you don't fit in.
Yeah. And so
Did you stopped because I stopped. There was time where there was one indigenous lady that was attending the group. I connected with her more, but people would just, sometimes I feel it was just assumption. People would just assume that you didn't speak English or something. But I just stopped. But then this is where programs that
like
you run, that Sister Project comes in, isn't it? Where it's very inclusive and it's very diverse.
So I guess what you're saying is, if you don't find a place to belong here, go somewhere else. And if that doesn't fit you, go somewhere else. Go to where you do feel comfortable. And what we've created at Sister Project is a safe space where we have that understanding that maybe you don't connect here, but in this space, we all come from somewhere quite different to where we are now. So we've got that understanding straight away. We've got the understanding that we don't all speak English very well. So there's that support. We will stop and listen longer than maybe someone would in, say, an Australian playgroup. Okay, so we will take time. We will help you with learning English. We will help you with connecting. That's just an assumption that you are in a safe space. And also that there's this sense of understanding. There's this sense of you are welcome. There's this sense of you are here. You're part of this story now. You won't get that everywhere. Find a place that has that as their representation. That's what they do.
And that's a beautiful feeling when you walk into a room and relate with someone. You know, of course, you're not going to relate with everybody.
That's right.
But there's one or two people that you can connect with.
Well, we're so blessed. Since the project, we've got all languages. We've got nationalities from everywhere around the world. So, and our relationships that are built are perhaps between an Afghani person and a South Sudanese person, you know, and then they become best friends. It's not kept to a country. It's just we're all in this together. We're women and we're all in a new place. We're all supporting each other.
And women, we have a common goal, just to be safe, happy, loved, being
More in common than
Yes,
different.
definitely.
Is that what
Yes,
you're saying?
yes, yes.
That is correct.
Yes,
Exactly.
like we all want to be loved.
We all want to be loved.
Safe and happy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
definitely, regardless.
Exactly. And we can encourage each other and
other.
hold each
Yes.
other up while we all move forward. Yeah.
So Tracy, that's amazing. Continue with the amazing work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Let's talk personal now. Tell us about some of the challenges. Like as someone who's born in Australia, I know we can easily assume and say, oh, because you're born here, life is
easy for you. Yeah.
But I've come to learn as I get to know other people. It's struggles. We all have some sort of struggle through our journey and stuff.
Yeah.
So what are as Australian, as someone who is born here, what are the challenges?
Yeah, we all have our own stories, don't we? And we can't just discount someone's story because of what we're thinking, our perceptions are. So, so life's not easy for anyone. Let's just put that out there. Yeah. So I had, like I said, I was married to a man from Ghana, West Africa, and it was a difficult road. We spoke different languages, different religions, different culture, different everything, and different understanding of what's normal, you know, even day-to-day things. Eating and, just simple tasks like that. It can be very different from country to country. The food even. Okay, but let me just put that out there. I love Ghanaian food. Love Ghanaian food. So there's always going to be challenges, and you have to open your mind to be respectful, I guess, that there's always a different way of doing things. So it's been a long learning curve, but let me just say that at this stage I have a topic very close to my heart is family and domestic violence. FTV shortened it. Which is something that we are going to get to next question. Yeah, good. Yeah. Okay, so this is our segue. So this is a topic that's very close to my heart, and I think for women, we always need to keep at the front of our mind, how can we keep ourselves safe? How can we always make sure that, and women are givers. We're naturally givers. We're naturally providing and caring for those that are around us that we love, and even those that come into our path. So to support women to be able to look after themselves, or to give them skills and tools to look after themselves, we're looking after a whole family. And not just the whole family, but we're also looking after people back home. So there's a whole community happening. And not just this generation, but the next generation and the generation after that. So you impact one woman's life, and you're making generational change and bigger ripples in the community. So from my personal experience, I'm very grateful for it. I have the opportunity now to turn around and share my learnings, my experience with other women. So if they're going through something similar, they can, I can support them and show them the pathway of how to get out to the other side.
Definitely. So now, thank you. And that will lead us to our next question. So, like, I don't know how to put it, but what is the effect of domestic violence? Because it's like, it could come into like different layers, isn't it? Let's say, if there's a domestic violence, let's say there's the husband or the husband and the wife, there's children, and these children are part of the community. They're going to the schools, and the husband's going to work, the wife is going to work. So what's the effect of domestic violence in our everyday life? And I could see like in the news now, it's one of the topics it's very hot. Very hot. So what's your thought?
FTV affects every member of our community, every member. And let's just understand what FTV is. Of course, there's the physical aspect that we all know about. There's also verbal abuse. There's financial abuse and financial control. There is sexual abuse. There is just social abuse, where people can be controlled by limiting their access to their family and friends. There's many ways to abuse a person and have a control over their life, to manipulate them for no good purpose.
Yeah.
When that happens, and commonly we think of it, you know, with the husband doing the abuse to the wife, and that's the most common way of thinking about things. But it can also be kids doing it to the mum or to the dad. It can also be the mum doing it to the kids, or the father doing it to the kids. It can be in any respect. So family and domestic violence is just anything that happens inside the family home, connected that way. Sorry, what was your question again? Who does it affect? Okay, good.
We're talking about that effect, and you kind of explain what it is. And what red flag should women look for? Because a lot of, like you mentioned something about financial abuse and let's say, for example, control, you know, being limited to access, you know, and even some, let's say someone having no privacy, you know, like
inability to choose for themselves.
So stuff like that, like majority of the time, some women don't see this as a domestic violence. You know, majority of the time, you could easily just say, until someone hits you physically, that is domestic violence. You know. Hello viewers, we're going to go on a short break. With me still, Tracy Cup in the studio. I'll be right back. Hello viewers, welcome back to the show. With me in the studio still our guest, Tracy. Welcome back, Tracy.
Thank you. There's so much more to it. There's so much more to it. You're an adult. I'm an adult. I get to choose for myself what I do every day. I choose what I wear. I choose who I talk to. I choose where I go. I choose what I spend my money on, what I eat, all of this. Where I feel comfortable. I choose everything. I have choices. No one is telling me now what to choose. They're not controlling my choices.
Because that's your right.
That's my right. I'm an adult. I'm a citizen in this country. Even if I wasn't a citizen, I'm an adult in this a human right. If there is anyone who's controlling any aspect of your life, any aspect, and you don't have choice of that, then there's something wrong. And you get to choose if you accept that or not. You get to choose if you accept that other person to control. For example, let's talk finances. If you go to work, or even if you don't go to work, if you are getting Centrelink for your children and you're looking after the children, but all the money goes into your husband's account and you have no access to that money, or your husband is going to work and he brings money home, but you have no access to that money.
Yeah.
That is a form of financial abuse.
Yeah. Because sometimes the reason the woman is not getting sent is because of the husband's income, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah.
So the fact that she then has to, for every choice that she makes to do with money, has to go to the husband and negotiate, or even ask, or argue, or plead. That's not okay. That's affecting your choice of what you can do with money. Okay, so that is a form of financial abuse. Someone else has got control over what you're doing. Okay, unacceptable. And the funny thing, no, that's not right. The thing about family and domestic violence, when I say it affects every part of community, I mean those that are highly educated. I have postgrad degrees, and I became a victim of family and domestic violence. It doesn't matter how skilled you are,
who you are.
It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter what culture you're from or what language you speak. Anyone can become a victim. It doesn't happen black and white. It doesn't happen like overnight. It can be a gradual thing where someone can just take a little bit and then they start taking a little bit more control and then a little bit more control. And then before you know it, you've lost your voice or your ability to make choices for yourself. And someone else is doing it for you and not in a positive way.
Yeah, definitely. So you've mentioned something about you being a victim of domestic violence. How did you overcome? At what point you said, you know what, enough?
Yeah. I like to think that I'm a pretty smart person, but I was in this marriage for 20 years. That doesn't make me a quick thinking person. That makes me a very slow thinking person. But you know what? Actually, what happened was people would say to me, think of the children. People would say to me, you've made a vow. People would say things like, you need to respect your husband. People would say things like, that's not how we do it. When you make a decision to marry someone, that's it for life. And according to our culture, you're married forever. And so I always had that at the front of my mind. And I guess also the shame. Like I believed that if I looked after myself and put myself first, that I was causing shame for my family, that there was a failed marriage. I know all of this not to be true now, but at the time, that's the advice I was being given.
But then that advice is still happening today.
It's still happening today.
The shame.
It's like still happening.
Yeah, the shame. And how about your children? But then is it fair on your children to be in a relationship where you're fighting every single day?
Back to your question about who does this affect. The kids are the ones that are the most affected. Living in a house where you're scared, or living in a house where you're walking on eggshells all the time. You're frightened, you're hiding. We were all hiding, always hiding. That's trauma there. And for me as a mom, to be in a home where I should be managing it and checking, making sure everyone's all right, what I'm doing is forcing everyone that my kids had no choice. They had to be either where their mum was or where their dad was, all right? So I was, by choice, keeping them in a place where they were unsafe and they were getting traumatized because kids, they see this. They see violence. They hear violence. They feel violence. They feel it. It becomes a part of their body.
They come in the middle because they love both parents.
And they're in the middle. And my husband is a good man. He's a charismatic man. He's a handsome man. He's very funny. And, people that are perpetrators of violence are not necessarily bad people.
Yeah.
Okay? And not only that, but he is from a culture where, you know, they did a survey a few years ago and it was acceptable and appropriate for a man to discipline his wife.
Yeah.
And so I know, like, even in our communities here, you know, there's still the thinking that what happens inside a family unit stays inside a family unit, and I don't support that at all, because there are way too many people suffering inside the
This
family
is the
unit.
result of those
This
women
is the
who are
result
dying
of
every
that.
day. Yeah.
No, we need to talk more. We need to share stories more. We don't need to keep this in-house. We need to look after, and women will look after each other. We're not in a we don't need to compete with each other. We need to look after each other.
But sometimes even it doesn't have to get to divorce. Even just taking a break and acknowledge the issue. Or maybe someone is going through a mental health issue or having an addiction or something. Maybe that's, like you mentioned, your ex-husband's a good man. There's something that's triggering someone, or something that's somewhere is not right, because majority of the time you see two couples getting married, everything is good. Next minute, you know, it's like, what happened? You know,
and again, it doesn't even need to be husband and wife. We had
it could be like
someone come in this week where the son was beating the mum. He had been a beautiful child. You know, the mum was saying he was so lovely and respectful. And then something happened. He went away, joined the army, and then something's happened, and he's come back, and now there's drugs and alcohol involved, and now she's had to take a restraining order out for him. So, you know, it can be a trigger, it can be a trauma response, but the thing is, there's support out there for perpetrators as well as for victims of domestic violence, and everyone needs to be supported and explore every avenue to be able to support people that are going through. I'm not advocating for divorce. I'm not saying divorce is the way.
No, but what I'm saying, sometimes you have to remove yourself to be able to breathe and think. You know, like if you in that house where there's fear, there's anger, and also domestic violence goes both ways. Just that, because majority of women go through it, but there's men who do go through it. There's men who feels like that as well, who have to live under fear and having to just cope, because
it's not okay for anybody.
You're a man. You're a man. You need to stay for your children as well. That's not happen. Or you're a man. You cannot walk out of you know of your relationship or something. You know. So definitely. So today, let's say, what's your message for someone who wanted to remove themselves from that situation? Like,
I think the most important thing to realize is that in this country, and even in any country where you are, that there is support for you, and there are choices that you can make. Even if you can't find support, you have choices. You have a choice. You can choose to stay and put up with what you're going through. That can be your choice. Or you can choose to change and make a difference for yourself. Choose which option you want. And really, every life, all our lives, is just one choice after another. You make a choice. So
how about if someone, let's say you want to pack your bags and go, you don't even know where to go, you don't even have money, you don't even know anyone, how are you supposed to do that?
It's not going to be easy. No one's saying it's going to be easy, right? I was actually homeless for a while, and with 4 kids, that's not easy. Okay, so but it's a journey. All I had to do was think, am I going to keep putting up with this? Do I want my girls, I've got 3 girls, do I want them to think that this is appropriate and acceptable relationship that they should aim for when they get married? Do I want my son to think this is how he should be behaving? Do I want to continue my family living like this? No, I don't. I had nowhere to go. I had to connect and find people. I was sleeping in a car. My kids were all in different houses. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but the alternative also wasn't easy. So it was a choice between 2 hard places to be, right? And then it was more choices down the track. Can I go here? Can I go there? Then it was another choice down the track. Then it was another choice. Then it was another choice. And all the way it's choices. It's not easy, but you can do it, right? And now I'm out the other side. and I am not suffering. I'm happy. I'm in control. My kids are happy. We're living in peace. We have peace and calm around us, and now is our turn to turn around and see who else needs to have a bit of light shine on the path for them to also make their choices and move forward.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. That has been an amazing story, and I'm glad you are here, and I'm so happy that you didn't just stop for yourself. You continue to support other women who needs the help, and we will put some information out there as well. Some of the services that you have for anyone that needed seeking support, not even just for domestic violence, like maybe to connect, or if you need like any other support. So can you tell us a bit about other services, like the programs?
Great. So at Sister Project, to prepare yourself for your best future, we have everything from English classes that are run actually by North Metro TAFE. We have English conversational classes. We have cooking, craft. We do business workshops as well. And everything we do, we look to be upskilling. So when I say cooking, for example, we are wanting our women to be put in a position of authority and as a teacher. So they're teaching the wider community. The wider community are paying to come and experience authentic dishes from whatever country the woman is from. And that puts the woman in a position where she can feel as though she's got something to offer. Skill sharing, improving her confidence, and also teaching her business skills along the way so that she can go on and set up her own business and start supporting herself financially. We've got courses starting very soon that are employment pathways. So we're all about getting people into jobs, whatever sort of job that is, and then their career in moving forward as well.
Thank you so much. What if someone walk into the center and do you do any referrals?
We do. We do, absolutely we do, because we're actually not funded. So there's a lot of things that we can't do. So we collaborate very closely with other organizations that are similar to our ethos. So for example, we might have to refer someone for financial counseling. If they've got way too many debts or they need to know how to save money, for example, we work closely with other places for counselling. And the good thing about going to see a counsellor is that if you have something that you can't think clearly about, or you need some advice, or you just want someone to listen, and you don't want it to be someone in your community, because sometimes there is like a grapevine that happens in the community, and we don't want to be sharing all our details sometimes. If we talk to a counsellor, what we share in that room stays in that room. No one else hears about it. And you also get that relief from having expressed, your frustrations or whatever it is you need some help with. So we have can refer to employment agencies. We can do letters of support. Whatever you need, we've got connections.
Thank you so much, Tracy, for being here today. It has been an honor, and thank you for sharing all the good stuff. So it has been amazing having you here today in our studio. Continue all the amazing work.
Thank you.
So I've got something small for you.
Oh, I like small things.
So this is more of a reminder. Can you just read and tell us about what's your thoughts?
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for this. Be kind to others. Well, isn't that important? What's it say on this side? I love myself. Awesome. Very good. That's it. We all need to make sure we look after ourselves first, and then we can be better equipped to look after others and love others. Very good.
That is yours to keep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Reminder.
Oh, you're right. Put it back in the bag.
Thank you.
Good job.
Hello viewers, we've come to the end of our show. Don't forget to follow, share, subscribe to our channel. My name is Victoria Mayuen, your host. Bye for now.
Exclusive at KoollifeTV.com.